Hi, it's Ashley from AB Sound Advice. Today we're doing a product review on the Meier-Audio Corda Jazz FF headphone amplifier. Now, I've got to say straight off the bat, I absolutely love this. This is definitely a great little amplifier. And before we get into the details, let's just quickly go through some of the specifications like I do. The impedance, output impedance is 0 to 1 ohm. We have a maximum output current of 300 milliamps. The output of the Jazz is 3.7 volt. The maximum output voltage on the FF is 15 volt at 200 Hz. It also has that nice volume control. It really has a lovely feel to it. It's very, very nice. It's got a cross-fed filter switch. We have a stereo or cross-fed off or on, so you can actually turn that on or off. A pair of analog inputs. The input, we can do 16k ohm, gold-plated input jacks, silver-plated headphone jack using the new trick plug, which you can see there. And we've got 10 watts of the transformer built on, 110 through to 220 on the main switch, so power uptake is 5 watts. It's got a built-in ground loop breaker, double regulated voltage lines, low impedance, buffer capacitors, which I think we mentioned on the other model as well. If you haven't heard of the other one, we've got the Rock as well, which is the next one down from this. And it also has a low impedance bypass capacitors. We've got what have we got in here? We've also got the OPA 209 op amps biased into into a class A. We're also running a total of 4 Burr Brown BUF 62634 buffer amplifiers at the left and the right, and a ground output channel. The active balanced headphone ground. We have the signal paths components bottom side of the PCM for maximum shielding, and of course we've got the anodized aluminium enclosure and weighs in at 1.0 kg, 22.2 by 10.6 by 6 cm. So quite a cool little unit. Now the thing that I want to cover off first off, what I loved about this, obviously button on the front for high and low level, and switch you'll see in the downward mode we've got it in the stereo position, and in the up switch we're putting it in the cross-fed filter. So it actually, you can actually with the right music actually hear the adjustment made. I did run it in the stereo and in the natural cross-fed filter. Both ways I like the sound, and straight off the bat I've got to say it is an awesome sounding amplifier. But before we get into that, let's run around the back of the unit and have a look. Very simplistic. You'll see on the back here it really is just a pair of RCA inputs and a power plug. There's really not a lot to it, but yet for the sound side there is a lot to it. It really is a fantastic sounding amplifier. I really enjoyed this. Comes with an owner's manual, which you can see here, the Corda Jazz. And wow, what can I say? I ran again through the RCAs. I ran the a DAC input through it. Also through Tidal. I also ran the other set of RCAs, which you can see here, the thick ones, probably at the back there. They are connected to a USB on the other end, so I could provide an analog sound, and then through the other RCAs we're using a DAC. And on that particular test I was using the DAC Magic 200M as the input, and through the other one was obviously just a USB adapter into RCAs. Now through both of those, very impressed. I've got to say, really love this amp, really love it, don't want to give it back. I love the volume control feel to it, truckloads of level, attention to detail. It ticks all the boxes off for me. Now remembering this part of the world, it's around the $1,000 mark, so at $1,000 it's definitely playing at its price point. It sounds exactly as I'd expect it to, and I'd say punching way above its weight. So if you're looking for a good quality desktop headphone amplifier and you're running a 6.3, and of course you can obviously use an adapter to get to 3.5, sorry, you will be very, very impressed. And musically, wow, I can't stress enough, this really is a struggle to give back. I absolutely really enjoyed the sound of this. It's just really surprised me. I mean, sometimes simplistic can be way more than you anticipate, and even though it's a lot bigger, I mean, I think the Rock was about there, and of course, look, we really double the size, the weight. obviously adding the buttons on the front, running it in the stereo mode or in the, so downwards for stereo and upwards if you want to use the filter built in. It's sort of just simulating nearly, what would you call it, like a wide sound. It just widens it. It's and again, it's difficult. You're not going to hear that straight away. Some music you're going to hear it, and other bits of music you may struggle to hear the difference in the switch position. But all in all, absolutely love it. It's a great amp, and as I said before, German made, German quality. And if you're looking for an amplifier around the $1,000 mark, you can't go wrong. Now, if you'd like to find out more information about this headphone amp, the Meier-Audio Corda Jazz, you will be able to find that on hifihq.co.nz for New Zealand or hifihq.com.au for Australia. And outside that, you'll have to search Meier-Audio and look on their site, which again, as I said, based in Germany. Right, sound. As I mentioned in the actual Corda Rock, I said it was a little bit plus on the bass. This is a little different. This is, I would say this really is neutral. It's a very neutral amplifier, really, but it's got that solidness to it. It's hard to explain, but playing all types of music on this, whether it be, like as I said, this is the jazz, so I played jazz music on it, and of course all different types of other music. And it's really, as I said in the rock one, I like how they've labelled these things. One's a jazz, one's a rock. And I purposely, when I played this being a jazz, I've played jazz music through it, and there's no argument. It really does a fantastic job. It's the bass is just solid. It's really detailed. You can actually really, the bass notes are really natural. There's no argument. Whatever's in the song is going to be replicated in a very analytical way. And as I've mentioned before, we've got stereo, hi-fi, or audiophile. I definitely consider this to be an audiophile headphone amp. You would not be disappointed. And if you're looking for an audiophile amp and you want to spend around the $1,000 mark, this would be a very good investment. And if you want that German quality, again, this would be a great investment. So, as I've said before, I don't rate things 1 to 5 or 1 to 10. Would I own this? Undoubtedly, yes. Absolutely love it. I've used the Bravo HAMT-3 Mark IIs, which are about a 5K headphone, and I've used those across all the products because they're such a detailed headphone. I can hear every change between amplifiers. Even when I swap leads around, I can hear the different changes that you've got to listen carefully. You need a certain type of headphone to hear that. And across all the products that I ran through this, absolutely fantastic. Absolutely recommend the Corda audio. So the Corda Jazz from Meier-Audio, it really is a sensational headphone amp, and it's so simplistic. It really is. As I said, the volume control is just so smooth, and musically, as I said, I've used the 3.5s through the DAC Magic from our friends at Cambridge Audio. I've also, as I said, used the RCAs to USB, and of course we've got in the background here 3.5 to stereo RCAs using an adapter through an iPhone, and through all the formats. Thoroughly enjoyed it. It really is a great amp. It's got that depth to it, and if you know what I'm talking about, you can buy a cheap amplifier and it sounds like a cheap amplifier. It's got that, it doesn't have the depth. It feels a little hollow. This thing here, it's like the V8 first, the little 4-cylinder. It's got the grunt, and it's got that depth to it. So really a top-notch product. So 10 out of 10 to the guys at Meier-Audio. The Corda Jazz is a fantastic headphone amp, and I highly recommend it if you're looking for something. And you 3.5, 6.3. So you put your 6.3 or you with the adapter, so you can run the two formats. And you don't need a balanced connection, then this is the way to go. It really is a fantastic amp. So I hope you've enjoyed today's product review on the Meier-Audio Corda Jazz FF. And again, thank you for supporting the channel. I do appreciate everybody's feedback. It's great to see. And again, thank you for tuning into AB Sound Advice.